This video will demonstrate how to do the assignment music as decimals, fractions, and percents. First, you're going to start by creating your own rhythm. You can do anything you want. Make sure you use at least 3 different types of notes, and we'll do 2 full measures. You'll notice when the measure is done, my pie graph is filled in. Do something different for measure 2. Once you're done with your rhythm, take a screenshot and paste it into your worksheet. So I just put my rhythm, pasted it underneath number 1. We're going to use that rhythm to do numbers 2 through 6. In number 2, we want to write out the names of each note. So looking at measure 1, I have a half note, a quarter note, eighth note, eighth note. I'm going to type those out. Okay, then for measure 2, I start with a quarter note, eighth, eighth, quarter note, quarter note. So now I've written out my 2 measures using the names of the notes. Let's move on to number 3. Now I want to convert my words into fractions. So you can do this either looking at the words from number 2 or scroll back up to the image you put in number 1. So I had a half note, a quarter note. So half note, quarter note, eighth note, 1/8, 1/8. Then in measure 2, a quarter note, an eighth note, another eighth note, a quarter note, and a quarter note. In number 4, we want to convert those fractions into decimals. You might remember the decimal form of some of these fractions. If not, use your calculator. Remember, you can change from a fraction to a decimal by dividing. So 1/2 is 1 divided by 2. 1/4 is 1 divided by 4, 0.25. 1/8, 1 divided by 8, 0.125. And I have 2/8 notes. So measure 1 is 0.5, 0.25, 0.125, 0.125. Let's repeat this for measure 2. I don't have to redivide these as I already know quarter is 0.25, eighth, 0.125, eighth, 0.125, quarter, 0.25, quarter again, 0.25. Number 6 wants us to write these as percents. Changing from percents to decimals, decimals to percents is pretty easy. In fact, I'm actually going to copy the decimals and use those to start number 6. To change from a decimal to a percent, we need to move our decimal point 2 places to the right. So 0.5 would move over twice. We'd actually have to add a 0, and it would become 50%. Going to get rid of the decimal point. 0.25, move the decimal over twice. That's 25%. 0.125 becomes 12.5%. And then 12.5% again. Second measure starts with 0.25. Move our decimal over 2. That becomes 25%. 0.125 is 12.5%. Duplicate that, 12.5% again. And then 25% and 25%. Please refer back to this video if you get stuck as you're completing your own worksheet.